Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now as we come into the sort of middle part of the Asian session, we do have the Aussie employment numbers. Okay, now these are an important number, a major component, obviously towards inflation and what the central banks are doing. So, there's a lot of pressure on these numbers, but what you have to understand, like the non-farms, there's not as many numbers, but there's quite a few. Now, the full-time numbers here on the calendar, full-time and part-time, this is important for the breakdown of where the real activity is. Now, the full-time has more weight than the part-time. Now, the numbers here quite often aren't anywhere, right, for these numbers. And if you have a look across the various calendars, you will get, part-time empty, and there's no, well, they're actually full-times missing there as well. And if you check the something like Forex Factory, you'll only get the major components, right? The overall employment change and unemployment rate. Now, that is the actual numbers we want to look at. But I tell you what, there's a lot of devil in the details. So what you can do as far as full-time and part-time really is just focus on what the previous number was and sort of base your numbers off that. So what are we looking for, right? Well, the employment change is plus 15, okay? Previous 40.3. The unemployment or the participation rate, okay, it's been pretty steady. And the unemployment rate, this is the sort of the other part of the key numbers, right? 4.4. So what we're looking for out of those, if I just sort of break that down, okay, so we're looking for 15 and 4.4. As I was saying there before, keep an eye on the full-time number. If there's a significant drop or increase from the previous number, then that could be important, because what can happen, right? The employment change might come out as, say, like 100,000, right? And you're like, wow, that's a massive number. But then full-time will be down like, say, 130, and there's, the other 100 and 200 or something. I mean, these are exaggerated numbers, but might be just part-time. Part-time can change very quickly. Full-time is structured, okay? Usually means like health cover, superannuation. It's a lot more structured. It's a lot more important. If you lose your full-time job, you're usually in trouble, right? So that's where, when we look at this final number here, we want to look at the breakdown of these two to work out if it's full-time is the big change or not, right? If like we could get as I was just saying, like a stronger number like 25 there, but if full-time is much worse than the previous number, Aussie will go down, right? And that's what people don't think. They're like, but employment change was up. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the full-time component. Obviously, the unemployment rate is easy to work out. Now, so what are we looking there for that? I'm looking at the charts here, right? Just looking at the major currency pairs and sort of trying to piece together what's going on. Now, Euro, like it sort of seems to be easing up, as does sterling, still under the pump a bit. Aussie and Kiwi have been in the sunshine a little bit more than their big brothers, Euro and sterling. But the dollar, right, still edging higher on the Middle East unrest. Oil's at $88. Okay, dollar CAD's a little bit out of it. It's just sort of more going with the dollar move, right? So you look across the dollar and you're like, yeah, I know, but there's so much noise here, right? When I talk about the noise, we're talking about, the news, the geopolitical events. What you really want to be focusing on is, okay, what are the central banks sort of thinking? What are we looking at there? Okay, that gives you a bit more insight, a bit more market news as opposed to the rumor and innuendo that you get from just general news on US and Iran. So you look at the majors and you're like, okay, now what do I really need to look at? So you would go across and have a look at all the instruments. This is where the market analysis comes into play and does a lot of the work for you. Okay, so I'm looking at just looking at the pairs. This is where I would go and investigate. I don't need to go and check the stuff that isn't lined up. Okay, Euro, Aussie, it's going down, short-term, long-term. And then I've got Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen going up. That's what I want to focus on, right? Because basically, if we get stronger Aussie numbers, okay, it's going to work for a weaker Euro Aussie, and it's going to push all these things up. So stronger numbers, that is where the current trend is, right? That's all I'm looking for, because I don't need to go in and have a look, cover all bases and think, well, what can I sell here if it's not good? I don't want to look at what I can sell. I want to look at what's trending and then focus on that. If the numbers don't come out strong, well, then I just sit back and relax, right? It just doesn't line up with the market. So what I would do is have a look across these pairs and actually sort of piece together, see if we can work out exactly what's going on. Now, Aussie CAD, okay, it's sort of back, not quite in the middle of the range, but sort of thereabouts. It is going up long term. Now, when it comes to the fundamental releases, stochastics takes a back seat at the time of the release. So don't get too caught up in where it is, because if it's stronger, what you're trying to look at is, okay, we know it's going up, but does the short-term picture favor that? Well, right now, short-term, in the last day or so, or day, I should say, Aussie CAD is drifting lower, right? I would love to have seen that closer up here, because then I'm like, okay, good, the bias is topside. But short-term bias is down. That's going to take a little bit more of a bigger number to get going, right? Looking at Aussie Swiss, well, that looks like it's still going up, right? And it's going up long term. Now, I'm not so worried about the overbought stochastics, as I said, or even going down here. It is in a position to keep going higher. We don't really have any technical levels, which makes it a bit of a harder entry, but that looks pretty good to me as well, right? So that looks better than Aussie CAD to me. Now, Aussie Yen, okay, well, we're back in the cloud. Really, it's sort of thereabouts. You know, the Japanese traders will be loving a stronger Aussie. If anything, I wouldn't be drawing this sort of trend line from here to here, but if it did break above the cloud, that's a bit of a confidence builder for getting long Aussie Yen if we had stronger numbers, right? The Euro Aussie, okay, going down, like a nice sort of downtrend. This looks pretty good, but we do have like a level not too far away in them. It's like the ranges are contracting, but what you want to do is you want to get a good number to actually get this thing sort of rocking either way, right? When you've got support and resistance, it gets tight. You've got two barriers to sort of really the move. Right now, though, I would say, you know what, that looks like it's sort of slowly edging higher. But as I said, we've got resistance about 30 points higher. So that if we only get small amount of variance, it's not going to do a lot, right? And you look at Euro Aussie, Aussie's had a pretty good run, you know, and it's sort of just drifting sideways. If anything, the downside looks like it's under pressure on Euro Aussie, okay, still. But once again, it's going to take a big number to get that rocking and rolling. So what do I think out of those four? Well, there's two things I'm looking for. One is an entry level, right? And one is out of those four, which is the best, right? So I'm looking here, like I like Aussie Swiss. It's in a better place to sort of keep going higher. And then if I look at Aussie Yen might be sort of a bit more of a preference, because it's not much higher. It breaks back above the cloud, and that's going to draw a lot of traders in from Japan, right? And why do I keep mentioning Japan? Japan is the biggest Forex trading country in the world, and especially in the Asian session, they can dominate, right? And I'm not just talking the guys at home. I'm talking about the guys at the banks too. They do the exact same thing. So we've got a couple of opportunities here that are worth considering. I'm going to have a look at the numbers and sort of work it out from there, because this is the other part of the equation, right? You can't we know how the market is positioned, right? And you're like, okay, we can prepare for that. What's the consensus on the numbers, and how are they sort of rolling? That's sort of the other part. And of course, we've got the geopolitical hangover of US Iran, or we could just call it Trump, right? That's where we are. Now, if we are looking for one thing just to tick the boxes, okay, what's happening on the equity futures? They're going up. And, well, we've got Euro, Sterling, and Kiwi going up. Aussie's pretty flat, but it does help with a stronger number. Aussie should get dragged up with those puppies, right? At the moment, it's sort of struggling against all a lot of different crosses here at the moment, just on a very short-term basis, right? It hasn't gone far, but it's sort of like it's going far enough. The market needs more information. This is what the data can do for us, which is a little bit weird, right? Because the the US Treasury yields, so like US interest rates are higher, long like the 20 and 30 year. The 10-year, which is the sort of major benchmark, 4.65, a little bit higher as well. You'd think the dollar would be, well, it is higher, but we're seeing a bit of a correction here, right? So there you go. There's a risk on profile. Aussie sort of going from red to blue, which means it's hardly moving at all at the moment, which is no surprise with a number like this. You want to be making sure you're ready for it, right? So just coming back into these numbers, just one sec. So I got the sniffles here, got a bit of a head cold. Like there's a number of different variables, right? And if you get one up, one down, right? So we get a weaker number, right? So 4.5, and this is a stronger number. You're going to get that up-down movement in the market. So just be aware. It's like employment numbers these days. The banks, with the way the market is at the moment, they pull liquidity out. So you get a more volatile move in the first, especially about 5 or 10 seconds before to about 10 seconds after. So if you are trading, just be careful because you can get run over using pending orders and really hurt yourself, right? So to me, let the numbers roll. Let's see how they come out. CPI number is a different kettle of fish, but right now the employment numbers, well, we're just going to wait and see what happens. You know what? Things have been a little bit tricky down under. So I'm sort of thinking, like my gut feel is weaker numbers, but we want stronger numbers for the move, right? Take your headspace out of it, which is like taking what your subjectivity out of it and just focus on where the actual moves are actually occurring. And that's what the live signals give us, right? So Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen, you know what? Stronger numbers, these things should edge up higher. So even if you're looking for a short-term trade, you're going to get some value out of a stronger number for Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen, and also downside Euro Aussie, right? And that's the nuts and bolts of it, right? We haven't got like an epic level where we're all just going to jump in. We've got direction on our side. Let's see if the numbers match up. All right, guys, good luck. All the best. Cheerio.